Hi, my name is Dhruv and I am making this video as part of my academic requirement for the subject Indian Economy and Policies. In this video, I am going to speak on the topic Indian manufacturing sector, the issues and challenges faced by this sector and the way forward. I have segregated this video into following 7 sections. First, why manufacturing is central to economy, India's manufacturing sector, India's potential to promote the manufacturing sector, issues and challenges faced by the sector, government's initiative to promote the sector, reasons for lack of job creation in India, and the way forward. Now let's look on why manufacturing sector is central to any economy. First, manufacturing creates jobs. Most jobs directly or indirectly depend on manufacturing, and the reviving sector could provide tens of millions of jobs. According to Economic Policy Institute, each manufacturing job supports almost three other jobs in economy. Second, services are dependent on manufactured goods. Services are mostly the act of manufactured goods. You can't export the experience of using something. Retail and wholesale, which makes up about 11% of the economy, are act of buying and selling manufactured goods. The same goes for real estate, another 30%, which is the act of buying and selling of real or physical asset. Example, a building. Even health, which makes about 8% of the economy, is the act of using medical equipments and drugs. Third, manufacturing is the most important cause of economic growth. The growth of manufacturing machinery output and the technological improvement in that machinery are the main drivers of economic growth. No machinery industry, no sustained long-term economic growth. Just consider the explosion of internet, iPhones and the like, all made possible by a small subset of production machinery called semiconductor making equipment, which itself is dependent on other forms of production machinery such as machine tools that grind the lenses they use or the alloy of metal, the metal making industry output. These technology reproduce themselves as when an SME makes the semiconductor that then go make more SMEs, or when a machine tool makes the metal component that only go into other pieces of machinery such as cars but are used to produce yet another more machine tools. Fourth, manufacturing is the foundation of great powers. The most powerful nation in the world, the great powers, are those that control the bulk of global production, the manufacturing technology. That is, it isn't enough simply to have factories or produce more goods. You have to know how to make machinery that makes the good. The key to power then is to make means of production. Fifth, global trade is based on goods, not on services. A country can't trade services for most of its goods. According to WTO, 80% of the world trade among region is merchandise trade, that is, only 20% of the trade is in services. This closely matches the trade percentage that even the US, allegedly becoming post-industrial, achieves. If in the extreme case an economy was composed of only of services, then it would be very poor because it couldn't trade for goods. Its currency would be worth very little. The dollar is also vulnerable in the long term. A post-industrial economy is really a pre-industrial economy that is poor. Now let us throw some light on India's manufacturing sector. India's manufacturing sector has evolved through several phases from initial industrialization and license raj to liberalization and the current global competitiveness. In 2017, the manufacturing sector only contributed about 16 to 17% of India's GDP. On the other hand, in the East and Southeast Asia, the industry share is above 30 to 40%. Manufacturing sector's share in GDP has not grown at all, though between 2004 and 2012, employment growth in this sector was considerable. However, in the total, manufacturing employment has reduced significantly between 2011 and 2016 by 10 million in just 4 years, especially in the labor intensive manufacturing sector like food processing, tobacco, textile, apparel, leather, wood, and furniture. This is in contrast to what was achieved in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. Next, we come on to what potential does India have to promote the manufacturing sector. First, India has 3Ds, that is demography, democracy and demand for the growth of the manufacturing sector. 65% of the India's total population is below the age of 35, an advantage when compared to other countries. Studies have showed that every job created in the manufacturing sector has a multiplier effect in the creation of 2 to 3 jobs in the service sector. High demand, increasing middle class, and young population and high returns make India attractive for the manufacture. Also, the manpower cost is low when compared to other nations. Now, let us look at the issues and challenges faced by this sector in India. First, black money and corruption are also hindering the sector's growth. Second, reluctance of banks. Currently, banks are hesitant to offer loans for industrial activities. Third, trade regime's biasness. India's trade regime is biased towards capital intensive manufacturing. Fourth, geoeconomic challenges like trade war, Iran US tensions are also negatively affecting India's manufacturing sector. Fifth, labor productivity. In India is less compared with other nations like China due to the lag in supply chain management, transportation, production planning, and maintenance. Today, 62% of India's population is in the working age group, and more than 50 to 54% of the total population is below 25 years of age. However, it is estimated that only 4.7% of the India's workforce is formally skilled. Sixth, transportation. Also, transportation is costly and slow when compared to developed nations. Last, tough competition for MSMEs. MSME sector is facing tough competition due to cheap imports from China and other countries that have a free trade agreement with India. Now we go on to government's initiative to promote this sector. First, Make in India initiative aims to make India a global manufacturing hub. It also aims to increase the sector's GDP share to 25% from the existing 16% and create 100 million new jobs by 2022. Skill India aims to create jobs and promote entrepreneurship within India. Shram Suvidha is a web portal that provides a single platform for all labor law compliances. Startup India scheme's objective is to generate employment and promote economic development. It seeks for the development and innovation of products and services and aims to increase the employment rate in India. Stand Up India aims to promote entrepreneurship among women and SC and ST communities. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana provides loans for small businesses. National Manufacturing Policy provides for technology acquisition and development fund. Other labor reform initiatives include random inspection scheme, universal account number, apprentice protsahan yojana. Why is the manufacturing sector not able to generate jobs? In the period of 2005 to 2010, an average of 12 million individuals entered into the workforce per annum. During the same period, the economy grew at an average of 8.7% and above 9% in the 3 of the 5 years. Despite the high rate of growth, the economy managed to create only 5.5 million jobs annually in the industry and service sector during the same period. According to the latest salary index, manufacturing is the lowest paid sector in 2016. And some of the causes for this are as follows. First, the labor laws. The labor laws in India are excruciatingly complicated. The law change based on the number of labor. The worst of the law is the Industrial Dispute Act, which says that if the manufacturing firm has 100 workers or more, it cannot dismiss any of them under any circumstances unless prior approval is given by the government, which is rarely given. The law is mandated even if the industry is going bankrupt. Thus, the investors are not willing to enter this sector. Indian firm as a result remain so small on average. Labor is in the concurrent list and more than 40 central laws and more than 100 state laws govern the subject. Second, lack of necessary skills and education. The manufacturing sector, for it to grow, requires an educated workforce with the necessary skill and training. India's skill ecosystem need to be fixed. According to FICCI report, India has 5.5 million people enrolled in vocational courses while China has 90 million. Also, India's educational system lack soft skill and value-based training that meet the demand of the industry. Employment and unemployment survey conducted by NSSO revealed that the total manufacturing employment in the country has fallen by 3 million between 2004 to 2009. Hasty fixes rarely on work in the policy making, and the FDI cannot revive the sector and generate jobs without the education reform. What can be the way forward? First, promote the growth of labor-intensive industries. Wood, paper products, and textile industry are labor-intensive and mostly do not require any special qualification. Promoting the growth of these industries as a short-term solution can ensure the absorption of the growing unskilled workers. Second, promote MSMEs. MSMEs are vital for the country's economic and social development. In India, they account for 8% of the GDP, 45% of the manufacturing output, and 40% of the export. Third, labor reform. Reforming of the existing labor laws must be prioritized to make them simplified and flexible. They must be reformed in a way that will promote investment and ease of doing business within the sector. This will prevent the companies from resorting to outsourcing and contracting the laborers. Third, fourth, improving education and quality and labor productivity. The quality of teaching in school and colleges must be improved. The high quality vocational training must be providing within the education system. India's labor productivity, though increased in last decade, is slower than that of China. This should be addressed to compete in the global market. Fifth, power and improving logistics. Stable, low cost, and uninterrupted power is vital to promote the growth of energy intensive manufacturing growth. In India, additional tax for heavy manufacturing industries like coal, cess, RPO, and PAT increase the overall cost. The logistic cost is estimated to be around 14 to 15% of the GDP in India, almost double the 7 to 8% of GDP in developed countries. In India, nearly 60% of the cargo travels by road. This is because of the overconsumption of the railway network, high rail freight, long transit times, inadequate port depths, high turnaround time at ports, and poor watering facilities. Addressing these issues can promote the growth of the sector. This is it. Thank you.